Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Olson. Please state your name.
Michael Olson.
Teresa Claire on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Mr. Olson is before the court for a violation of probation hearing. Mr. Olson was sentenced in this case December 13, 2023. Mr. Olson has done nothing with his probation. He failed to report after sentencing. He owes a balance of $1,525. He's made no payments. He failed to sign and return his probation order, failed to complete substance abuse treatment, the assessment and or treatment, including a mental health assessment and or treatment. He failed to report to community corrections for his random weekly drug testing. And he has also failed to report to the court on prior violation of probation hearings in April, May, and in June. He would then submit a bench warrant recall request that again and again he would not appear. Given all of that, probation is asking that the court sentence him to 93 days in jail, credit for 25 days served, to serve the balance, complete the in-jail Dawn Farm program, waive remaining terms, accept his financial obligations, and discharge him from probation without improvement.
I did speak with Mr. Olson regarding the VOP. I think Mr. Olson's issue has been that he has tried to complete some of the terms, but has not fully been able to get there. For example, when I was reading through what he hasn't done, he said, well, I did call probation, but he didn't show up in person. When I read that he didn't do his treatment, he said, well, I did call Bear River, but I wasn't able to get up there. He has
Bear River comes and gets you, but go ahead.
Or hasn't been able to complete the intake or whatever happened.
Yeah.
I think his limitations come from he told me he's not working. He doesn't have any transportation. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a license. He's been living with his mother and taking care of his pregnant fiance. He's been trying to keep his head above water. I will tell the court
How did he get picked up?
You are about to hear the ramblings of an idiot.
My mother was going out of country to deliver a package. She's a package carrier. I had to wake her up to find out when she'll be there because I was planning on going to work, and the police department, the state police, picked me up.
Even his lawyer is thinking, I have an actual breathing turd for a client.
I think he's been trying to keep his head above water, trying to care for his pregnant partner, trying to get work, trying to help support his mother. I do know he has the support of her. As the court may know, she's called probation, she's called the prosecutor's office, she's called my office, she's called the court, trying to get someone to help Mr. Olson. I do think if he were in touch with Ms. Pilara, he would be successful in probation, but that connection hasn't been made, obviously. I think Mr. Olson is someone who needs a little bit more support to complete the terms. I mean, he expressed a lot of confusion to me about what he needed to do and what was going on. I think he's been struggling with, like I said, completing the things he needs to do without someone kind of ushering him through it. He does have more time on probation. I'd ask the court to give him a chance to complete the terms that he needs to complete.
Anything you want to say, sir?
I apologize for anything I've done wrong. And
April 10th of 2024, I had to issue a bench warrant because you didn't show up at your violation of probation hearing. You submitted a recall. We reset it. May, same thing. Didn't show up. And issued a recall. Usually we wouldn't recall it. We recalled it. We reset it in June. June 12th comes around. What happens? You don't show up. I would agree with everything Ms. Perny says in terms of, yeah, you might need help getting through some of this. Maybe. I don't. But it's impossible for us to determine because anytime that we're setting a hearing for you, you're not here.
yes, sir. That's why I was apologizing, sir. Your Honor.
Sentence of the court, 93 days in jail, credit 25, defendant to serve the balance. He's to complete the Dawn Farm in jail program. I'll waive remaining terms, accept his financial obligation, discharge him from probation without improvement. Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm not really seeing, never saw my probation officer and they told me 10 days.
What?
They told me 10 days the last time I spoke to them.
They told you 10 days for what?
I think that he's referring to
met the
prior.
probation officer.
And that's what it looks like after you flush the toilet. I always wondered. I chose this case for my subscribers, so as you can put it on when you're in bed, so as to help you fall asleep, as I find that this judge has the perfect flat monotone, that even when he's angry, it just doesn't change. It really is out of it. Anyways, sweet dreams.
File 24-93328. Carol Poliandro. Here for a docket call. Also a contempt sentencing. Mr. Radsbon, Mr. Poliandro was picked up on the bench warrant for drinking again and was arraigned on Friday and pled to contempt. So I revoked her bond and set it for a sentencing today so that we can decide what we want to do. Thank you. All right. And so Mr. Vogler, as to the status of the underlying case, where are we at?
So there's been a plea agreement reached.
All right, Ms. Poliandro, as best you can, would you raise your right hand for me? Poliandro, the guilty plea hearing is an important event. It includes the waiver of constitutional rights that you have. All right, so you're offering to plead guilty to possession of Suboxone. That would be, under Michigan law, a felony punishable by a maximum of 2 years and/or, I think that's a $15,000 fine maximum. Knowing all this, how do you wish to plead to the charge of possession of Suboxone?
Guilty.
I'm yeah. So on or about April 28th of this year, were you within Presque County?
Yes, sir.
And were you in possession of the controlled substance Suboxone or buprenorphine?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any lawful authority to possess that substance?
No, sir.
You didn't have a prescription for it?
Mm-mm.
So I hereby accept your plea. Schedule this for a sentencing on January 6th at 2:40 in the afternoon. You'll have to cooperate with a pre-sentence investigation report conducted by a probation agent.
Okay.
And I guess Mr. Vogler and Mr. Radsbon, I'd like to hear both of your positions with regard to bond between now and then and the contempt sentencing for the second contempt for the drinking alcohol.
Yes, Your Honor. First off, I'd like to just, before I address that, I would like the court to know that at sentencing, we would be asking the court to sentence her under that's the 7411 statute. So I would ask that the probation department address that in its recommendation one way or another. But with regard to sentence bond and the contempt sentence, court last time we were here sentenced her to 3 days of the work camp. She's completed 1 day. I believe she's scheduled tomorrow for the second one. Since this happened back in April, she acquired a job. She's been working at Tom's Market in Onaway for the last 6.5 months, full time. In some cases, having to figure a way to get there because she didn't have a driver's license. But in the meantime, just last week or the prior week, she was able to get her driver's license reinstated, so now she can legally drive. She and I mentioned last time when we sentenced her, I referenced the support group meeting attendance sheet, which started back in May 10th of 2024, showing very consistent AA attendance for the months of May, June, July. August was a little light, only one time that time, but September, 5 meetings attended. October, a couple. In November alone, she attended 5 meetings. And she tells me, I mean, this was a drug case, and her bond violation is really consuming alcohol. And she recognized, she says, well, when I don't make that AA attendance the way I should, that seems to be the time that I drink. So I think this is a person that's trying hard to be flippant with the court. I think she has an issue, and I think she's trying to address it as best she can. And she's due back. She took time off. She's scheduled to return to work Thursday morning. She turned herself in on the bench warrant Thursday. So she's had all that time in jail. And I would ask the court to sentence her to time served and continue to bond.
Thank you, Mr. Ratzbaum, people's position.
Your Honor, as I come back through this file, there's been a long litany of failed tests. The most recent one from November 28th, positive for alcohol. I'm looking back, a positive test on October 29th, alcohol. Positive test on October 11th for having a drink, and also she tested THC on that day. Going back to August 22nd, again, admitted to drinking positive for alcohol. So I understand she may be trying, but my goodness, we're not just talking about one slip up here. This is a continuing pattern of non-compliance for you on a drug charge. She obviously has some substance abuse issues. Continue the bond, she's going to be right back to doing more between now and the time of sentencing. Or cancel the bond and hold her until the time of sentencing. For the record, we would be opposed to 7411.
All right, well, Ms. Poliandro, we did have few violations before that were kind of wrapped up into one by the time we got it in court, and I gave you some days on the work crew rather than revoke your bond or give you jail. Then you continue to disregard the bond conditions and consume alcohol, and you're no longer cloaked with the presumption of innocence as well. Bond is entirely discretionary on the underlying charge, even without any violations. I think at this point, until we get through the pre-sentence interview and then figure out what kind of services might be appropriate on probation to help you address those issues, I'm going to revoke your bond. The contempt sentence will be 30 days in jail, credit for 5 days served, but bond continues to be revoked. So we'll see you next on January 6th at 2:40 in the afternoon for your sentence.
Thank you all so very much for watching to the end. Please subscribe and drop a like if indeed you did enjoy. I hope so. Until the next time, I'm off to feed those cats. And if you want to see another cool episode of mine without all the mandatory stuff, then click on the episode on screen now.